I would say more than 50% that he's finding another angle to cheat. If he is, it is what it is. I'm still going to fight the guy. If he isn't, then great. I think that's going to make it even worse for him because I think I'm going to beat that ass either way.
Aljamain Sterling, welcome back to BT Sport. How the devil are you, sir? You well?
I'm doing great.
Man, we've got to start by talking about the get-up. The clobber is absolutely on point. Talk me through this.
I came here early, so I wanted to make sure I picked up some souvenirs, and I wanted to embrace the culture a little bit, I'm here in the United Emirates, and I wanted to make sure I took part in, I guess, what do you call this, the Kendor? Kendor, I think this is how you pronounce it.
It looks good, man.
Thank you.
Very regal. I like it. To go, obviously, with being the champ, you've got to set the standard. You've set the tone for the week now.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to top this one.
It's good. Listen, we've got a huge fight, obviously, this weekend, which we're going to get stuck into, but I just want to have a quick look and delve into the camp because I saw one of our own, Leon Edwards, obviously with you recently, popping down and spending a little bit of time with you whilst you were out in the Middle East doing the back end of your camp. Nice to sharpen a bit of iron with Leon.
Yeah, it's cool. It's always nice when you have a fellow Jamaican around the parts, and I didn't know he was going to be at the gym. We came there to get a workout in. We walked in, I turned and I saw him hitting pads, and I was like, oh, wow. What brings you out here? Obviously the fights, but It was cool to see him, and it's always good to have a fellow countryman.
Mate, Jamaica representing in the Middle East. That's what it's all about. A lot of coolness knocking about. I want to first and foremost talk about the first fight with Petr Yan that you obviously when you became champion off the back of the disqualification. Did the fan reaction off the back of that fight surprise you, given the nature of the way that the fight finished?
It definitely surprised me because I'd never seen how someone could be the victim of a crime, and then they're the ones that become I guess what would you even call that?
Like, well, you became the villain, didn't you? I mean, the people
like it was my
villainized
fault.
You. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I don't understand what happened, but I guess my friends asked me to take pictures because they flew out to come see me, Yeah. So they're all in my house in Las Vegas, and they wanted me to cheer up, and they took pictures with me. They posted the pictures. I gave a toast for everyone just coming out and saying, well, this is not the way I wanted to win the belt. Mm-hmm. I would like to do this the right way. And they took that picture and they ran with the narrative that I was celebrating and drinking. I didn't even drink the night. I had a throbbing headache. I threw up that night. I'm pretty sure I was concussed. And it was just crazy how the narrative can quickly spin and take a turn based on what one person says, and it kind of just catches fire.
How did you really feel inside winning the championship in that way? Once the dust settles, once you can think about it and like everything's kicking off with social media and a fan reaction, how did you really feel inside?
I felt that there was unsettled business. That's the only way you really can feel. I think anybody with any type of pride in the work of art that they do, I pride myself on being one of the best guys, if not the best guy. And beating Corey Sandhagen for me was my title fight, and Jan was supposed to be my first defense in my mind. A guy who fought someone who was ranked 12th at the time, who was just retired, and he fought a guy who was coming off of a loss for the title. Mm-hmm. That doesn't even make any sense. So I came into that fight feeling that way. So the way the fight went, I felt like there was unfinished business, and I was glad I got to do it the way that I at least somewhat envisioned it, because I really did think I could finish the guy the first time we fought. But whatever, the hiccups happened, whatever. That was completely my fault, and he was better that day. But unfortunately, he made the mistake and gave me an opportunity to do it the right way again.
Well, we all know the truth now, because obviously the second fight played out. But what was it like for you mentally between those two fights? Because obviously you were out injured as well, so you had to take care of yourself. How hard was it to deal with that period of time mentally?
It was only tough because I couldn't do anything about it right away, because I had some injuries with my tricep where I had some atrophy going on because of the neck injury, and then I finally had to get the surgery. No matter, I tried to go to all these different people to see what other options there were to kind of remedy the situation so we could get back to the fight sooner rather than later. Turns out I need to get the surgery, got it done, and then I had to sit there and hear people tell me that I got a surgery to delay and to have the belt longer. I'm like, well, the belt doesn't mean anything if you're not fighting and making money. So what does it mean? It doesn't do anything. It's just a thing, So people's mindsets are different. It's very interesting to see how the world thinks as the majority of people tend to view things. And they're very short-sighted, I would say. And they're not very good at analyzing situations. Like for me, being more active is what I want to do, you know? So I'm hoping after this fight I could be as active as I possibly can be. Finally, as I was in the beginning of my career, there was a period where I fought 5 times in 1 year, you know? So I'm hoping I could get back to that. I know I'm a little bit older now, but to have to deal with that for 13 months of just listening and knowing I can't do anything until I get back in the cage, it was just like, all right, I might as well just have fun with it. You guys want to say this? I'll take your words, and I'll twist it up, and I'll spit it right back at you, and your words don't hurt me. I mean, I've been through worse. I've dealt with worse. My family, we butchered each other as kids, you know, in terms of verbal abuse. So if you think what you're saying to someone I don't even know that I don't have any relationship to, I mean, good try, but that doesn't bother me. That's not going to shake me.
You did seem to embrace the moment and dealt with it well. How satisfying is then the moment after when you get your hand raised in the second fight against Piotr and then the world actually gets to see what you always believed?
It was a big relief, man. I mean, when I heard it being a split decision in my mind, I'm like, there's no possible way anyone could be that high to judge the fight for him. I'm like, what moments did the guy have in the fight? I mean, other than making boiled fists and walking forward and trying to look tough and mean, that don't count for you. You have to do damage. You have to actually do something to dictate the fight. I'm like, I made you walk my waltz the entire time. I took you down. I beat you up on the back. I threatened with submissions. And even the rounds that they gave him were very close rounds. And he fought my fight still because I took away. I knew he had a gun, and he had 1 bullet left, and he needed a home run. And I knew the more he grappled, the less chances he had to pull the trigger. And that was the game plan. And man, I felt like I fought a smart fight. I might have taken my foot off the gas a little bit, which I understand. People were like, oh, well, you lost the championship rounds. Okay, whatever. But in my head, I got the job done. I did what I need to do. Clean sweep the first 3 rounds. I knew that was like without a doubt my fight. And I knew as long as I don't take any significant damage, I'm going home scratch free, you know, against the world's most dangerous boogeyman, you know, who's supposed to beat me by any means necessary. So I don't know, man. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, yeah, it's a fist fight. I'm looking out for my health. I'm looking out to entertain as much as I can in the ways that I can entertain, which is within my skill set. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm keep doing what I do. Push forward, take people down, beat them up, submit them if I can, and that's the Funk Master. You know, if you don't like it, do something about it, you know? So maybe TJ is going to be that guy. Maybe he won't be. Maybe he'll be another guy backpacking, hang up his backpack on my wall somewhere, you know? So like I said, man, people can say whatever they want. It was super satisfying to prove to the world that I knew what I knew and what my team always knew, and hopefully more to come, you know? This game is very short, and you got to take these opportunities where you can and make the most of it.
Must give you an awful amount of confidence, though, knowing that you did have stuff left in that particular fight. Like you just said there, maybe you did take your foot off in 4 and 5. I think 3, it was done at 3. Yeah. But to know that you've still got more, if it's needed, in a fight must give you an awful amount of confidence.
Oh, 100%. I mean, in the 4th round, I jumped on his back to try to get style points. I wanted to get a cool highlight. And then I ended up falling off of his back after I got the takedown, which they didn't count. His hands touched the ground. That's a takedown. Took him down, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get cool now. I'm going to get fancy. I tried to banana split him. I wanted to jump on his back and then look for the banana split and see if I could get a 6 submission. And instead, I fell off the top, and then I was on my back on bottom, and then he just kind of held me, you know. So I don't know. It's good to know that I can do more if I need to. This fight, I don't plan on doing that whatsoever, because I know TJ is going to be looking to finish any chance he can, and that's what I like. It's going to make me rise to the occasion and make me have to dig deep and do what I need to do. So I think the fans are in for a treat for this. They want to see me get into a brawl so bad. I guess they just don't like me being pretty and missing all these punches, you know? I mean, I don't know. Like, I look at the fight game different from other people. People look at it like they want to see people slug it out, which is cool. I like watching that. But when I'm the one that's in there, I'm telling you what, you're going to have to earn those strikes, you know? I'm not going to just give it to you and stand there and let you just tee off on me and trade punches. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You're going to fight my strengths, and my strengths is my grappling. Why
TJ then? Because it was you that was vocal. You mentioned his name. Why TJ next for you?
I feel like that was the fight people wanted to see. So I gave them what they wanted, you know? So you guys are welcome. Hopefully you guys tune in and watch the show. And He is one of the most winningest bantamweights in history. I think he actually has the most wins, and I think I'm second behind him, tied with, I think, like 2 other people. So to go out there and beat a guy like him, who's a 2-time former champion, a cheat, and someone I've watched for a very long time, since he was on The Ultimate Fighter. I was supposed to be on that season. I had shoulder surgery. I wasn't able to join that company. But, everything works out for a reason, and I'm here, and it's an honor to share the cage with him, no matter what. Even all the I talk about everybody, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be an honor to share the cage with people who do what we do. It's a sport that's unforgiving. It's a sport that's hard to wake up in the morning for because of the sacrifices you have to make sometimes. And I appreciate anyone who could get up there and wake up in the morning and go through that grind mentally and physically, because it's not easy.
You just referred to him as a cheat there. How do you look at him, given the couple of years that he's had to have out of the game because of obviously what he got caught for?
I said I knew it the whole time, where there's smoke, there's fire. People have been saying that about him for years. And it's just weird if I'm the outsider who's never been in his camp, never actually met him, to go and start being a whistleblower on things like that. It's like, all right, man, maybe one day he'll get caught. He got caught. And on record, his teammates outed him, and it's on record, and it was just brushed under the rug as if nothing ever happened. And they said he's been doing this pretty much since he came out of college wrestling. So I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving people the facts. I'm just saying we're going to step in the cage. I already know that there's a chance, a slight possibility, I would say more than 50% that he's finding another angle to cheat. If he is, it is what it is. I'm still going to fight the guy. If he isn't, then great. I think that's going to make it even worse for him, because I think I'm going to beat that ass either way.
Does he deserve to be here? Does he deserve to be in with you, given what has happened over the last couple of years?
I mean, he still accomplished what he accomplished, whether it was clean or not. So I guess that's all that matters. Like, people look at the John Jones DC saga and they go, well, he popped for all these things. But at the end of the day, the fight still happened. And people are going to just judge that. They're not going to go, oh, well, people don't care, And that's what you got to realize about this game. No one cares. No one cares if your excuses. We all got excuses and nobody likes them. You step in there, you make the decision, that's on you. And this is on me. And I'm going to step in there with TJ, and whatever happens, happens. It's out of my hands. I can only control what I can control, and I can't wait to see what he's got on tonight.
I'll ask you about the fight in a minute. I just want to talk about the division as a whole, because your good friend, obviously, Merab, doing extremely well in the division. You've been public yourself, saying that when he's in that position to be fighting for that title, you will look to go up to 145. Is there a potential that this could be your last one at bantamweight?
The fans are going to have to wait and see, man. I got the wheels turning. I got a couple of things I've been kickballing and trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm just focused on this, taking it one day at a time. As of right now, he's in a position to challenge for a world title. And obviously, I'm in the position I'm in. And I have to win the fight for that conversation to even be a thing, So we'll see what happens, I got to go out there, do my job, and then hopefully, like I said, his opportunity will come to fight for a world title. I'm going to back him the same way he backed me. There
is a certain Mr. Henry Cejudo that's very noisy about you, isn't there? And I think his period of time in the testing pool is coming to that 6-month period, so he'll be ready for competition very soon.
Henry's been bouncing around. So for me, it's just like, what have you done for me lately, So I don't think, of all the people, I don't think he deserves to just come back and just jump right into a title shot. And I like Henry, don't get me wrong, but I do think if there's anyone who needs to fight somebody and prove themselves the same way TJ had to do, it should be Henry Cejudo. So I know he's talking and saying all this stuff that he's next. I mean, you can make the argument that he could be next, but I mean, based on what everyone has done while he's just been sitting on the sidelines eating tacos and all this other stuff.
He's been enjoying himself.
He's been enjoying himself, He's trying to get rid of the dad bod a little bit. I respect him for coming back, but I do think the time has passed him, and I think he should have to prove himself before just jumping in, just like anybody else.
Right. Talk to me about Saturday then. When this door shuts, how does this play out?
I think we're going to stare across the cage from each other. He's going to be locking eyes. I'm going to be locking eyes as well. He's going to do his little waltz that he does back and forth and staring and trying to pump himself up with Bruce Buffer screaming at Bruce and doing the fist bump. And I've seen all this, doing the dancing with his Dance Dance Revolution with his feet. Crisscross applesauce. I'm going to walk across the cage and just march him down. And eventually, that dancing, you have to do something with it. I'm a very difficult guy to hit, and when I'm pushing forward, and I'll take a note from Demetrius Johnson, when I'm going zombie mode and I'm the guy going forward, that's a tough guy to deal with. So I hope he's ready for a much bigger, stronger wrestler, and he thinks my wrestling is ass. I can't wait to go out there and come for that ass.
What a way to finish an interview, man. Just on the final thing, going into the second Piotr fight, the fans were maybe more so with Piotr going into that fight.
Even in America.
This time, I would say that the majority of the fans are with you. So how does that feel?
I really don't know where the fans sit. I just take it in stride, man. We'll find out who gets the bigger pop on the night, and if you want to back a cheat. I can never get behind that, especially one that's got blatantly caught. Not like, oh, he took something that was accidental. The guy knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? So I can never support anything like that. So he might be a cool or nice guy outside of that, but I've never heard anyone say anything nice about the dude. So I think karma's coming, and he deserves an ass whooping. I'm the guy to give it to him.
Prince Funkmaster, enjoy.
Alaikum salam.